first, let's start by looking at some of the data from last year to understand a couple of things. Number one, why email marketing is critically important during BFCM, right? So I know, Jimmy, you got a couple of points against this, so we'll talk through this. But customers who make Black Friday, Cyber Monday purchases through email promotions typically spend 138% more than those who don't receive such offers, right?
That's
Think about it,
insane.
138% more. Um, and then, despite rising inflation, 43% of shoppers plan to use BFCM deals to buy gifts, right? So I think this part's so important because like we're always like, oh, well, the market's tough, the market is rough, and inflation, and people don't want to spend as much. But like, let's look at the real numbers and what shoppers are really planning to do. It's important to incorporate
Yeah,
that.
you know what's interesting there, Ron, is like when you read that, you're like, wow, like people are still planning to spend. I think they're
Yes.
not planning to spend less is not the right thing. I think they're just going to be more smart about it. They want to know the best
Right.
deals they can get and where they're going to find it, and to their favorite brands. I mean, honestly, like I think what I've always seen with especially online sales is because of the younger generation and demographic that tends to be that online buyer, emotions is more important than finance
Emotions.
sometimes. And Black Friday is an
Yes.
emotional day because you're thinking of other people.
That's it. And that leads really well to the next point, which is 56% of BFCM shoppers make purchases for themselves, but they also are making purchases for their holiday gifts, the people in their lives, all of the other people that they need to cater to. Because here's what's not changing, no matter what happens in the market, the holidays don't go away, right? Whether you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, or just holidays in general, there is a time of giving. And guess what? No matter what the market's at, that's not going away, right?
Yeah.
So right where you struck on emotion and time of year and whatnot, all of those things still play a defensive factor to the market. And honestly, this defense is so strong that you see people still just spending money, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And look, Ron, you know, one of the things I talk about here, I think I love this statement here because they say purchase for themselves. One of the things I talk about, I learned by complete accident because we had a late shipment show up. We launched a brand new product at full retail on Black Friday. This is like 2016, circa 2016, right? I think it was 2015 or 16. But we had this whole collection, 6 SKUs, all these things that we were just late for a thing, and we launched it. And we sold out in less than 12 hours of this new product. And we quickly realized exactly what you said. People aren't just shopping for them. They go, oh man, I really want something for myself. And then when they see the new thing, that's what they want to buy. But the discount thing, because they're buying for someone else, they're willing to take that concession over there. But when it comes to what they want for themselves, they're actually there for the best and the hottest thing, not just because it's that emotional buying behavior. This is the time to shop. This is the time to buy. And I think that's really interesting. And that probably leads us to our last point, which I think I've got a really interesting question to ask you after this, but talk about this last point here.
Yeah, I think people always get shocked when we say this. BFCM contributes to 17% of Opti's lifetime revenue. It is that fundamentally important and impactful for us.
Rod, the question I had, which is interesting, is now that you have this Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and you guys do this, but thinking about what your brand does and how Avi, for example, is really on that, like, being better, cleaner for yourself, health and wellness kind of thing. Do you guys see a second tick off happening in like January as you guys have it? So do you guys almost have like 2 Black Fridays happen?
Yeah. So what we have we have the Black Friday, and then we have what's called the New Year, New Me, right? We call it January 3rd because January 1st, you're still a little bit, most people are hungover still. But January 3rd, two parts of the world go crazy. It's supplements and dietary products, and gyms and memberships and signups for there. You see those go kind of berserk. I can't even help really compare it to a Black Friday. It's just it's totally different because there's almost a recklessness in terms of how people are buying because they're like, hey, I've made so many mistakes. I've promised myself this. You have so many power forces. So I will say one note though: the Black Friday, Cyber Monday crowd that's buying, they're buying with far more intent, whereas the January people who buy, they're buying with far more hope and spray and pray method and not really even understanding and thinking why and what they're buying They're just hoping that this is going to change their life forever.
Yep, the holiday 15, man. That's what it's all about.
That's exactly it.